Hello and welcome to Crunch Time. My name is Jack Bogdan.
My name is Alex Grinling.
And this is our review of Dead Space 2's first DLC pack, Severed.
The sprawl. Hard to believe this morning I called this place home. When Lexington and I escaped Aegis 7, we thought we'd gotten away from the nightmare for good. I was stupid to let my guard down. I should have known it would claw its way back to us.
It's back. They're back. Don't tell anyone, just get moving.
Gabe, you're scaring me.
Don't argue, just get to our shuttle now.
This isn't happening. It can't be happening.
Oh, Lexi, get out of there now!
Oh, God. Lexi, do you read me?
Gabe? I can barely hear you.
Isaac isn't the only one fighting through the sprawl.
Alright, Alex, that was the trailer for Dead Space Severed. Here is some footage. This is not Isaac. What have they done with Isaac? Who is this? Who is this mysterious person?
This mysterious person is... Wait, is it? It's getting my audio.
Is it? Say it again.
It's getting my audio. Finally. Right?
It is now. It wasn't a second ago.
Okay, well that's great. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
For all of those listening at home, this is the third try in recording this thing because this stupid program won't get my audio. So, but let's keep talking about Dead Space
Let's keep
2
going.
Severed. Shall we?
Yes.
Welcome back to the world of the sprawl. It might look the same because you're playing through the same areas that were in Dead Space 2 as a different person. As you so... What's the right word? You noticed. Anyway. As you so thoughtfully point out, Jack, this is not Isaac Clarke. This is Gabe Weller. Dead Space fans will recognize old Gabe. He was in Dead Space Extraction, which was the, light gun on rails game for the Wii. Also packed in with the PlayStation 3 version, like the collector's version of Dead Space 2. So Gabe finds himself on the sprawl, and the story is that Gabe's wife, Lexine, or Lex, I don't know, I'm assuming Lexine, but maybe it's just Lex. Maybe. My name is just Alex.
How about Alexa?
People think it's Alexander, but they're wrong.
Like Alexa? Is it really Lexine? I've never heard Lexine before.
I don't know. I think it's just Lex. I think they just call her Lex.
Okay.
So, minor detail, my friend. So Gabe is trying to rescue Lex, who is in the medical area, medical treatment center in the sprawl. Which is where you start Dead Space 2 as Isaac. Because you escaped the medical center, okay? Mm-hmm. So this game constitutes, it consists of 2 chapters. And what you are doing is you are going from the mines on the sprawl to the medical center. Man, I was just really disappointed with this. Let's not beat around the bush. I was disappointed. A lot of the things that made me love Dead Space, the audio logs, video logs that you find around, there are none of those in the game. What you were doing, they essentially recycled 2 areas from Dead Space 2. There are a handful of... I just got mail. there are a handful of new areas, but seriously, it's probably like 5 new rooms, and the rest, you are playing through these areas the opposite way that you played through as Isaac.
So, what's the price of this DLC?
It's $7.
And do you get anything in the full game that you wouldn't have gotten if you hadn't bought the DLC? Like if you were like, you know, for the original, for the main campaign.
No, I mean, aside from the new story of Gabe and Lex, which there isn't really that much there. It gets a little more interesting toward the end, and that in the last 30 minutes it gets interesting. It's only like an hour and a half long, so there's that. And you know, there aren't any new weapons. There might be. I think there's a new enemy type, but it's just a faster necromorph. Nothing, you know, nothing that a little stasis can't handle. You just slow it down.
Basically, like, so it's a very thin DLC pack. Like it's $7, but you get very little. It sounds like.
Very much so, and it's pretty combat heavy, more so than the actual game was. The actual game kind of had peaks and valleys of, you know, sometimes you would just be wandering through areas, and there might be a necromorph here or there, but all the combat in this is, oh, you're in a room, a shit ton of bad guys come at you. Done. You can go to the next area. Which is something that happened a lot in Dead Space 1. Not so much in Dead Space 2. I felt like a lot of the big battles in the core game were very well thought out and incorporated the environments that they were in pretty well. You know, you're in a nursery, a preschool. There are babies. You know, there are specific places that the babies would come out of. It all made sense. And in this, it's just like, here's a bunch of enemies all at once in this single room for no particular reason.
In the same room that you were in hours earlier as Isaac.
Right. So, I don't know. I mean, it just feels, overall, it just feels like a cash-in to me. And that is really disappointing, because I bought this because I love Dead Space 2 so much. And so many of the things that game did right, this just falls down on. And it just doesn't seem like the same care was taken with it. I ran into weird bugs where necromorphs would run in place, and you could just walk up and hit them. And they wouldn't attack you. This DLC relies heavily on music, which is not something that's in Dead Space 2 a lot. You know, there's music in the, you know, climatic scenes of the game, but not as much. It's much more ambient when you're wandering around. And so there were times when you know, someone would be talking to you, you know, over, you know, your rig, and I couldn't understand what they were saying because the music was too loud. The music tramples, you know, there are some great audio cues in this game of what monster is around you, what kind of monster, and the audio, or the music is just so loud, and it just drowns out all of that great sound work.
It's so odd that they would do that in the DLC.
I know, like, I don't know if they, you know, want to test it and see, like, let's add music and see how that affects things. But it really seems like the music jumps in when there's supposed to be a scare, and that just seems really cheap compared to the much more subtle. The subtle work of the core game. When we reviewed that, I talked about how a lot of the times it's scary just because of the juxtaposition of the environments that you're in with what's happening. There's really none of that here. I don't know. It's not worth $7. I don't know. Yeah, you know, if other games like Red Dead Redemption are getting the Undead DLC pack, which adds 10 hours of gameplay, and it's $10, then they cannot justify charging $7 for a DLC pack that is an hour and a half long and consists largely of recycled environments from the core game. That's, I guess, in the end, that's my major beef with it. So,
well, that's
this is coming from a guy that loves Dead Space 2.
Yeah, which is why I think that anybody watching this should really like listen up, because Alex really does love Dead Space 2 and Dead Space and loves the franchise.
I'm playing through it for the third time, for God's sake. And you know, that's using the New Game Plus, which lets you play through again with all the items that you've acquired. This DLC doesn't even have New Game Plus.
Oh, weird.
Like it doesn't. I don't understand what the hell is going on when they made this.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. It just seems like a really weird thing to put out.
Yeah, it seems like it's a lot of step backwards. You know, from a game that really stepped forward. I mean, the first game was great, but the second one was just you know, an improvement over that in every way. And this just seems like a step backwards, and I don't really know where it came from. I was really excited when they announced that it was single-player DLC because everything does multiplayer. So it was nice to see, you know, some care to the single-player experience, but it just doesn't deliver.
Sorry, folks. To those who are looking to be happy, Alex has really been like really sad about this. Like in all the segments you recorded today, he was just like, "Meh."
Oh, I know, it's a bummer. It is.
Well, thank you for watching. I hope that that you take what Alex has said with, you know, whatever you will take from it. My name is Jack Bogdan.
My name is Alex Grinling.
And my name is Alex Grinling. You can find more of the show at crunchtimeshow.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.